Yeah. Don't mind me. I'm going to finish the last bite.
Okay, y'all, we've talked about
My Built Puff Bar.
the Built Puff Bars. I know we've talked about it on our stories, but I don't know if we have on the mic talked about Built
In our BravoCon recap.
Oh, yeah, maybe we
I think we did.
Yeah, I think you. But what I'm saying, y'all, is we're still on it. Like, we are still riding this train. And it literally, it's a protein bar, but it's like a candy bar.
Tastes just like a candy bar. This Built Puff coconut one.
The coconut.
It tastes just like a Mounds.
It's just like a Mounds. And read the protein. What is it?
So it's 17 grams of protein plus collagen, 140 calories.
Oh, look at that.
140 calories for this Built Puff Bar. And you got to get the puff.
You got to get puff.
It's like nougat.
It's like a nougat because I do think some protein bars that claim, oh, we're just like a candy bar. It's not. It's a little grainy. It's
3 grams of fat. I mean, it's 140 calories, 3 grams of fat, 13 carbs.
Fine.
And then 17 grams of protein. Tell me that's not, those are incredible numbers.
Incredible numbers for something that tastes so good.
Truly,
I mean, my kids love it.
Truly like a candy bar. Oh, they're so good. Got to get the puffs.
You got to get Built.
Because
Built does have other kinds, and I've had them, and they're okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not dissing Built.
It's the chocolate on the outside. It tastes like real chocolate. Also, it's not waxy.
It's not.
It's not leaving your mouth feeling like it's in a film.
It's not waxy. It's not grainy. Did we want to change clothes? Do we care? You have a shirt. You can just throw on a different
right
shirt.
there.
All right, everyone. We'll be right back.
God love you.
Our outfit change, and we have done that before.
We've had to do it before, but this really helps with the clips on social media to distinguish between the two. And even when it comes to like, okay, which episode do we talk about this?
I know,
and
you're
we
so
can be
right.
like, oh, it's that shirt, and then the receipts go with that episode.
Yes.
It does. It
So
just
y'all,
helps us.
look at me blending. I'm just a floating
Oh
head.
yeah, dang! It is the exact color. Well, yours is a little greener. This is a little bit bluer, but
Look at it in the thing.
I know. Isn't that from Harry Potter? Don't they have like the floating head guy in the bus or whatever?
They have the floating head guy, and they also have nearly headless Nick.
A nearly headless Nick.
Yeah.
Nearly headless.
Nearly headless.
Why? What does he have?
Well, Hermione asked that. She says, nearly headless?
Yeah.
Why do they call you nearly headless?
Uh-huh.
And he goes, and he's a ghost. And so he grabs the top of his head and pulls it to the side. And it's just like his head's been sliced off, but not quite. So that very
headless.
little bit of skin hanging on still on the side there. And then he swings his head and puts it back on.
Neat.
And she's like, why did I ask?
Hermione.
Hermione.
I love her.
Harry Potter. We were just
Hermione
saying.
Granger.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah. Oh, I love Emma Watson.
I do too. I thought she was a great Belle.
Yes.
I thought she was a great Belle. I've seen people be like, oh, it should have been someone who was a more like, standout singer or whatever. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm watching Beauty and the Beast to hear Belle like sing a ballad.
I'm not a huge fan of all the live actions, but I loved that one.
I loved it too.
I loved it.
I loved who they were casting for like Lumiere and all that. I just think the casting was perfect. And also because Emma is very studied. She is all about reading. She is all about books. She wants women to progress in these different areas.
Yes.
I think that is true to Belle.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So leave it alone.
Yeah.
I need everyone to stop complaining about the casting of Belle.
I do. Should we talk about the casting of Snow White? Just kidding. Just kidding.
I
Not
mean,
going there. We've already pissed off enough people, I'm sure. It's been a week.
It's been a week. Oh, and you know what I meant to say last
Yes.
week? Is the Danielle Staub famous quote. People either love me or hate me. There is no in between with me.
It's so true.
Ugh!
It's so true. That's you.
I'll say it now.
And you've been fine.
Danielle Staub, not
an icon.
Not an icon for me,
No.
but I do love that quote. That was like her tagline. Do you remember when the Housewives taglines were not taglines? They were just things they had said throughout the season.
No.
Yes.
Is that how it used to be?
Yeah. So if you
my
go
gosh.
back to OC season 1, like Vicky and all of them, their taglines in the opening sequence is just things they had said at some point in the season.
So was Teresa's like, and she brought sprinkle cookies.
Yeah, something like that. Vicky's was, I don't want to get old.
Yeah, it's true. She doesn't. Oh my gosh, that whole thing that happened with the Nick Viles podcast. Did you see that?
No, tell me.
So you know the Vile Files?
Yes.
his podcast.
And why is he popular? Like, was he popular before podcasting?
He was on The Bachelor.
And so everyone...
Or Bachelorette. He was up for... Hold on. It was like this weird thing because he came in the middle of Caitlin Bristow's season. Yeah. So he was a bachelor on a different Bachelorette season and he didn't end up, with the girl.
Okay.
Then in between that and Caitlin's season, I guess they kind of like chatted. DM'd, chatted, and stuff like that. But he didn't get cast as because you're not going to take another spot as a male. So they decided halfway through the season.
ABC?
Yep.
Decided.
They just brought him in and were like, we have a surprise for you. It's an old flame or something like that. And he walks in and Caitlin's like,
oh my gosh.
And the big scandal of the season is she said he can now be one of the guys. And they ended up having like immediately.
No.
Yeah.
But did she pick him in the end?
No.
But they did the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew this.
Oh, yeah. It was like such a scandal. And
that truly is such a scandal.
It was because people are like, girl, like, why are you having like in the like this soon? I guess, but she was like, but we already know each other.
They already knew each other,
which I get.
But really, it's always the lead up to like the fantasy suites, and
so then she had to answer like that she had with multiple people that season,
like that.
And she definitely felt like she came under attack, and she's like, where are all the feminists now? Like, why is everybody talking about how many people I'm sleeping with or whatever when men can be out here doing the exact same thing
night after night?
It brought up a lot of good questions and a lot of provoking thoughts. But anyway, so Nick is really big in the Bachelorette world. I'm sure he went and did Bachelor in Paradise and all that, and then he's like really early on in the podcasting game.
Right.
Now, his name on the show was Nick Vial.
Okay.
But I think that they realized that Vial Files rhymes. It's catchy. Better. It's catchy.
Yeah.
So he kind of did a little switcheroo, the Judice of it all.
Yes.
Very similar, talking about, obviously, New Jersey Housewives. So I personally... No shade. I do not like listening to his podcast.
So you're not connecting with him as like a podcaster.
And as a former Bachelorette fan,
I know you do. You love it.
I used to watch all of them. I would I would go live from them every Monday night and everything.
Yeah.
And then they fired Chris Harrison, and
why did they fire him? Can you remind me?
He said something on an interview. Let me think.
Okay, remind me what it was.
I know what this was.
It was very controversial, and people were either for or against him.
He was basically kind of accused of racism in whatever it was that he said. And I cannot, now it's a big deal. Like, I think they were talking about like Black Lives Matter, something. They were like, it was right around that time. And he was like, yeah, but 5-10 years ago, we wouldn't have even it wouldn't even be a thing. Like, he kind of made something along those lines. And that Rachel Lindsay,
that's what it
really
was.
Took him to task on this. What exactly did he say?
Okay, this is saying, of course I'm on Reddit, you guy. You know I am. That's where we go for the tea.
Right.
So this person is saying, what's going on with these allegations, blah, blah, blah. This girl writes back, answer, one of the girls who is rumored to be a finalist, if not the winner, had some racist social media posts. This is particularly significant because that season had the first Black Bachelor. Rachel, the first Black Bachelorette, interviewed Chris Harrison about it. He frequently talked over her, defended the contestant, and referenced, quote, the woke police. Rachel had spoken up about racism in the franchise for years, and the way she was treated in the final straw for her, this was the final straw for her and many of the fans. Due to the outrage over this interview, he decided to take a step back.
Okay, you guys, here's exactly what happened.
Tell me what he said.
So, what is his name? Matt James. Matt James ended up picking a girl named Rachel in his season. And Rachel, pictures came out that she had gone to an antebellum party.
I remember that.
Okay, in college.
The antebellum party in college.
Which happened a lot. Those were very popular. I don't know if that's just in the South, but I know that kind of like Dixie, antebellum, those sorts of things.
With the gowns and the parasols and the whole
gowns
thing.
and the parasols and the whole thing. And I mean, y'all, I literally went to a fraternity party called Pimps and Hoes where the girls were all hoes and the boys were all pimps.
Yeah, we had those too.
Like,
pimps
there
and
were
hoes.
just, and I didn't think in 25 years, I'd be talking about how I was so proud to be on another guy's arm as a hoe. Dressed like a hoe.
Yeah.
And he was my pimp for the night.
Yeah.
And he could kind of do what are we doing?
What were we doing?
I didn't think about it then. And even now I'm kind of like, well, I was just a dumb college student. I don't even know.
It's funny to think about because it's like, there weren't adults in charge.
No.
Like we were supposed to be the adults making
We were the adults. We were the adults, but we were. And what's funny enough about that, it was at that party that I met a guy named, I want to say it's like Gil. And he ended up later on being on The Bachelor.
No way.
As a guy. Yeah. Gil with 2 L's or something.
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
So I have a picture of him from that Pimps and Hoes party. Funny enough, it all comes back together.
It always does.
So what had happened is Harrison was specifically asked, well, what do you think about Rachel being at an antebellum party?
Right.
And he said, because he was talking to Rachel Lindsay, the who is a black bachelorette.
Yes.
From the season.
Yeah.
From the series.
So these are 2 different Rachels.
2 different Rachels. Rachel Lindsay is a black woman who was the Bachelorette and is, has lots of lore in the Bachelorette franchise.
Yes.
Rachel was Matt James's pick.
Got it.
And then and what was interesting about that, and I think what made it even more curious, is Matt James is a black man.
Right.
And so people were like, do you not have a problem with your girl being at an antebellum party? Well, Matt James defended her. Okay. He defended her. They did end up breaking up, but getting back together. Okay. Now they have since broken up again, and I think that it's done. Okay. Whatever. That's kind of some big, franchise news that came out recently. But Rachel Lindsay asked Harrison, what do you think about Rachel being at the Antebellum South party, celebrating it, And Chris's exact quote was, well, Rachel, is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021? Because there's a big difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
that's all he said?
Yeah.
I was waiting for more.
No. That's it.
Oh, well, no, that is true.
And so
gosh, we could take any year in the past 200, almost 50 years of America and say something was a good look then. That's not a good look now.
Correct. That her thing was, that was only 3 years apart, Chris. Like we, a lot has happened before 2018 that I think we can recognize. Now his thing is then once all the backlash, so he just says it like that, doesn't really think anything. Yeah. The interview goes on.
Well, I think he's probably just trying to answer it like as well as he can, to not be dissing anybody one way or the other.
Now remember what was happening in 2020 and 2021.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when people started to say, what were you saying there? What do you mean by that? Yeah. That's when he said, I invoked the term woke police, which is unacceptable. I'm ashamed over how uninformed I was. I was so wrong. I made a mistake and I own that. Racism, oppression, these are big dynamic problems and they take serious work and I'm committed to that work. By excusing historical racism, I defended it. I'll see you soon. And he basically left. I think that there was a lot of pressure from the the network to do that and everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
I don't know. For me, him saying that was not a big enough kind of fireable leave the franchise. I think that, you just got to educate and hear someone out and also realize intent and things like that. So
that's
anyway,
kind of what comes to my mind is intent because Chris Harrison had been with this franchise for so long, number one. And number two, was so loved. I think everybody loved this man. Yes. He did a great job just kind of hosting.
He was at all their weddings.
Yeah, he's neutral enough. Yeah. He was supportive when he needed to be, but didn't get too involved. Chris was a great host of this show.
They love him.
So we kind of do have to step back and say, we all loved this guy. Was his intent to be?
But also you're mic'd up all the time. He hasn't said anything else. Yeah. No one has caught him. There's never been a former employee who came out and said, "Oh yeah, he treated me with racism."
Yeah. In 20 years.
Yeah, we kind of have to add it all up and be like, was this just a live interview moment where he didn't quite know what to say? Yes, it wasn't the best choice of words, but like now we have to cumulatively look at this man's like interactions with people, especially people of color, and say, that is not my experience. I have never seen that.
Right.
Like, okay, let's know more, like know better, do better.
Yeah.
Like know more, do better. No. When you know more,
when you know better, you do better.
Thank you. Like just, it could have been that moment, but I just feel like, especially in that time, like.
Yeah, it felt volatile a little bit.
So volatile, like that no one was even hearing each other anymore. You weren't able to really reason. People were so everybody, it was just so tender. It was tender and
hard lines were kind of drawn, and you sort of had to choose which side you were going to be on, and you were judged for that one way or the other. And that was like election time too. So that and COVID, like that was a bad time. Can you believe it's 2025?
It was a bad time.
That was 5 years ago.
It's insane.
Y'all, COVID time was 5 years ago.
I know. It's crazy. And then some kids, I think, had to like remote learn the other day for the snow day that we had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And parents who, are just getting into that for the first time were like, wait a minute, y'all had to do this for how long? I was like, 21 months. 21 months.
You did it the longest of anyone.
Yeah.
We did. That I was close with.
Yeah, we did.
You did it the longest. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And didn't a lot of the CMS kids just like disappear?
Yeah.
Like they just never went to school. Like
they never went. Some of them, to this day, like they didn't even have computers. Like they didn't have Chromebooks. Like people would go drop them off, but they would never log on.
They never logged on because for whatever reason, if
scores fell dramatically, kids are still reeling from it in different ways, whether that's mentally or emotionally or and
even some of the younger kids too. I've talked to some people who, let's say they work in like 4th and 5th grade, right? They can see the kids that missed out on the social interaction that they should have had, let's say in kindergarten, preschool.
Yeah.
Where you're learning how to kind of be a human.
With other people.
Yeah. And so they still see the effects of that now in 4th and 5th grade.
And then, of course, there were the kids. My kids were middle school and high school. And then it's just like, you can see how that affected their grades that were extremely important for their GPAs to then get accepted into different colleges or to get different scholarships and levels of them. The ripple effect will be felt forever, I think.
Yeah. It's changed the trajectory.
Very acutely being felt, I think, in certain age ranges and groups and things like that. And it's just really crazy to me that some moms this last week with the snow day were like, oh my gosh, we have to remote learn. And I was like, welcome to 2020 and 2021.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my kids went through multiple grades that they spent still remote learning.
I think some lessons.
Not one, not a couple months.
No.
Like both my girls, multiple grades for both of them.
Yeah.
Spent remote learning. So, graduation's missed and
prom. I was thinking about prom for some of these girls.
Yeah, all sorts of things. There were a lot. Yeah. There were just a lot of things that were missed. I mean, scholarships, whether it was athletic too. It's just like, well, we didn't have a season and now I'm not being recruited. And then that was the only pathway that I had to get out, to make something of myself. And, as we always said during that time, it's like the cure can't be worse than the disease.
Yes.
More harmful than the disease.
It's like Jerry said. She said, when we went through these things, we did quarantine the sick, but we did not quarantine the healthy. No. What are we doing?
No. Jerry's lived through and had very terrible diseases. And you quarantined the sick.
Give people an update on Jerry. I feel like we haven't talked about Jerry in a minute.
I know. So when I was so sick, and still not quite over it, shocker, when I was so sick towards the end of November, then all of December, I was very careful. I couldn't go around her. Then her place did have a COVID, several people with COVID. She never got it. She still never has. But so then you couldn't go in.
Oh, dang.
And visit. So there were several things that happened, but, I took her out the last couple of weeks. I've taken her out. Like we did the dance video.
Right. That's you and Alex.
And so we went to Balding one time. We went to Portofino's the next time. She's still doing really well. She did fall again.
Oh no.
Last week, but she kind of just bruised up her booty. Like nothing bad. She didn't break anything. She didn't even go in the ambulance. She refused it. She was like, I don't need to go in the ambulance. Please do not send me back to the hospital. I do not want to go there.
No.
No. So I'm really proud of her for putting her foot down and advocating for herself. And so she didn't go. So she was just a little bit bruised up, but she's doing great. I mean, she's 97 and a half.
Amazing.
And she still complains about the food at her place.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how does she still
Complains.
like her room? Does she like
She
any
still
of the
loves her room.
What about the people there? Has she kind of clicked with anybody?
No.
No,
She hasn't.
No.
I mean, it's funny because there's a couple who lives there and the wife and husband are together in their same room.
Mm-hmm.
And the wife's body, perfect. Her mind, not.
Oh.
Her husband's body, all falling apart. Mind, great.
Oh.
So the two of them together make one whole person.
I love that.
But when
I love that.
But when I tell you that this woman asks over and over again the exact same question, I mean, there is no short-term memory.
Oh no,
none, zero.
So
zero long-term. It's just like, isn't it? Was that What About Bob? Is that the movie that kind of had the guy with amnesia or something?
Well, there's 51st Dates.
Well, yeah, 51st Dates.
Yeah. What About Bob might be. I think you are right.
There's something, but it's you sit down and the grandma was put at their table, and it's a 4-top, and usually Estelle is the other one who sits there. Good old Estelle.
I love that name, Estelle.
I know, Estelle. And so sometimes I'll just pull up a chair, and it's just like, well, what do you know, the woman who doesn't have any memory left, like, well, what are you going to eat? And I'm like, probably a BLT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to get a ham and cheese, I think. I think I get that every day. And I was like, yeah, well, it's a good, solid fave.
Yeah.
2 seconds later. So what do you think you're going to get today? And you're just like, I think I'm going to get a BLT. Are you going to get a ham and cheese? And she's like, yeah.
How'd you know?
Okay, great. It's going to be delicious, I'm sure. 2 seconds later. What do you think that you're going to eat today? I think I'm going to get a BLT. You're going to get a ham and cheese. It's going to be delicious. Like, eventually. So grandma is like.
Is that kind of driving her a little crazy?
Yes.
Oh boy.
And then she will finally move on from that to be like, how long have we been married? And she'll ask her husband, how long have we been married? And he'll say, like 65 years or whatever, like very long time, maybe 70. I can't.
Whoa.
Like they've been married a very, very long time. And so she'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a long time. And he'll be like, you don't say. Like,
oh my gosh.
When I tell you he just answers.
He's a saint.
He just answers. Over and over and over again with
deeply-
no attitude.
He deeply loves her. This is his person.
Deeply. And then she'll go, how long have we been married? And I'll go, 68 years. Best 68 years of my life.
Oh, what a doll.
A saint.
I love when I see those reels that pop up with the older couples. They've been together 70 years and maybe one had to go have surgery and then the other one wheels in to visit them and they kiss and they hug. Like, don't we all just strive for a love like that?
Yeah, it's just so dear and so sweet.
So dear, long lasting. Yeah. And just.
Oh, and I can assure you, they didn't agree about everything.
No, they did not.
They had hard times.
That's right.
But they loved each other.
That's right. But you and I in the past couple days have been talking about the fundamentals of what it takes. And we were saying that being in love and love is not enough.
No.
It's not enough to just say, well, we love each other.
We love each other.
It's not.
But like, love can get you through anything. No, I'm so sorry. Like it really can't. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news to those listening who think love is enough, and it's not. It's not. If love was enough for a relationship to survive, then everyone would most likely be with the first person they fell in love with.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you fall in love, you think it's love at least, and I think for some ages you don't quite know. Like, is this really love or lust or whatever?
Right.
But like, I fell in love with a guy when I was 17 years old, and we did all of our firsts together, and
at the Motel 8.
Yeah, at the Motel 8.
You got to tell that story still.
Oh boy, sure do. Patreon, buckle up, baby. Buckle the F up. And I mean F.
Yes.
So.
Woo!
Okay. So, I have this love, and when we broke up, it was so hard. It was so hard. It was brutal. I remember. I mean, I won't get into the details.
Okay, but could you say what it was that kind of was the breakup? Like, why didn't it work out for y'all? If there was like a one sentence you could give.
Addiction.
Okay.
Addiction. Yeah.
There you go.
Addiction. And I just never envisioned myself with someone with an addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even though that's not what you wanted for your life, it's still heartbreaking because you love the guy.
Still heartbreaking because I loved him. And you think they can change.
Yeah.
Right?
And that you're enough for them to change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I love you.
Yeah.
But I love you. You love me. I love you.
Yeah. Yep.
No. Love is not enough. Love is not enough. Or else we would all be with our first loves.
Yeah.
But eventually something else creeps in, whether it's addiction or changing of X, Y, or Z or differences that feel insurmountable. Or maybe you want to live in two completely different places and you just cannot decide.
Paige and Craig.
Yeah, Paige and Craig. Exactly what happened to them.
You guys.
That is exactly what happened to them.
It's exactly because we were all rooting for you.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you. But I think neither of them were going to budge on where they moved.
Absolutely not. Neither of them are going to budge.
And we're saying, if we get married and we want to have a family and we want to have kids, they have to be raised in a place.
Where are they going to be?
If it's just a couple, y'all can fly back and forth and be jet setters and, everything's great. And film for
already
Bravo.
40 plus.
Yeah.
He wants to have a family.
Wants kids and where are you going to settle down, And
I'm proud of Paige for knowing herself enough to say, I got to walk away then. And I have to release him of this as well. And the same thing happened to the Rachel and Matt James of it all because, they had been together for 4 or 5 years. And I think that she was like, hey, I need a proposal. I need to know that we're going somewhere with this. Because again, they met on The Bachelor, Bachelorette. Usually you get engaged then. No.
Dang, that's a long time to spend with someone and not have the firm commitment.
Yeah. And so, and Matt just gets to, it doesn't matter. Like he's not feeling that ticking clock like she is.
The women are.
But with Craig, he is in his 40s. And so he is feeling that. And you have Paige who's like, I'm my early 30s still, And
her career is really on the come up. And I just don't think moving out of New York can ever be an option.
And if Craig was her person, then she would find a way, I think, to say, I will make all of it work, but ultimately they weren't. They are not. They have fundamental differences, I think. I don't know if she loves the conspiracy theorist in him.
I know.
I just think that there were other things, but you know what? They were a beautiful couple.
And
Craig is such a catch.
I feel he's such a catch. She's a catch too.
Yeah.
I feel that their breakup so far to date has been pretty clean.
It is.
Pretty, it has not gotten messy. No one has said anything really nasty about each other. I think it was mutual to an extent. And I admire them for that. I love that.
I think the only thing that kind of got eked out a little bit was when Craig said, I was shocked by this. I was a little bit blindsided by it. And now we can all as viewers be like, how are you blindsided?
Yeah, come on, Craig. We can see it on the show.
Yeah. I think it was more just the timing of it. He was really right before the holidays, we're breaking up. I made you pillows. No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They were a beautiful couple. I'm glad that it hasn't gotten nasty.
Same.
I don't want it to get nasty with them because we love them both individually.
Yes.
We really do. Paige can do no wrong.
I know.
Craig can do no wrong.
I hope that
we're happy with both of them.
I think she's a spicy Italian girly.
Yeah.
I think she is gonna maybe trying to look for that Italian New York guy.
She just does not want to move.
She doesn't want to move. Now she was very much into Andrea.
Very much, but he's engaged, right?
He's married now.
Married, okay.
He's married to, and it's so funny, the girlie that he's married to looks very different than you think he would be married to.
Oh, okay, interesting.
She's very, very, very tall, blonde hair, blue eyed. I mean, she's beautiful. She's a model.
Of course she is.
But I don't know. It's an interesting, now, are they going to have stunning children? Of course.
Well, we've discussed this though.
But I'm saying he's got the dark Italian skin tone.
I hope it all works. Sometimes 2 rights make a wrong. They just do.
That's right. We did say with Jen Davis, 2 rights made 5 rights.
Exactly. You really hope that that's how it's going to go in your life. But it's unpredictable. The sperm and egg of it all.
I know. I just can't imagine Andrea having a not cute child.
I know.
That man.
Well, prayers up for that. Everybody add Andrea's future children to your prayer list, please.
We'll keep this candle lit for those kids.
The vigil is for those kids. Yes. Now that a big breaking news also that Princess Kate has said she is in remission.
Yes.
Her treatment is done
Done.
Done. And I love that she went back to the hospital that she had all of her treatments at.
Oh, I love this.
No one ever busted. No, and all that time that she never was found out. The PAPs did not track her there.
Yes.
They did not find her. There was none of that happened in the last year, which is incredible. Thank you, UK journalists, for finally getting something right there.
Yes.
But I loved this picture that Chris Jackson got of Kate looking up at this sign, and it's kind of in this iron, it's like this iron arch.
Yeah.
And it says the name of the hospital, and she's looking up, about to walk in the front doors, and she says, "This is the first time I've walked in the front doors of this hospital." Because when I got my treatment, I was always taken to a side to protect my privacy and the privacy of the hospital. So this is my first time actually walking through the front doors. And what a relief it is knowing that I'm on the other side of it.
She is
that not
a star.
She is.
She's a guiding light.
She is.
And when those pictures of her sitting with people literally getting their cancer treatments, and she's sitting there holding their hands.
Yep.
To know that your princess also did this exact thing.
Deeply relatable.
Oh my gosh.
Just deeply, deeply
all
relatable.
those photos. I loved them all.
Loved them. And she was, of course, she's perfect. It's just like, "Oh, hello, everybody. I'm sure you don't all gather right here all the time, in this hallway. Oh, what are you waiting for? Oh little me." Like, it was just so sweet. She's so sweet to take the time. And you know what else that I've noticed is, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think Kate got Botox and things like that before this.
Okay.
I don't think she's getting any of that anymore.
She doesn't want any toxins in her body.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that Kate has said, I have been given a second chance of life.
Yep.
and I'm not even saying that there's a correlation or anything.
But it's like
I'm not the Botox guru. I think I've
But
admitted.
it's like Yolanda Hadid had the same thing. She had some medical problems, and she said, "I'm done with any kind of anything being injected into me." She had her breast implants taken out, her fillings taken out. Like, she did all of that.
So
You think Kate has said, "I'm just going to age"?
I think so. I think that she has come to this kind of like, what does it matter anymore?
Yeah.
I could have died.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here. I feel like I have a second lease of life.
Yeah.
And what maybe mattered before doesn't matter anymore. And I've had this radical shift in my perspective. And I'm going to be the most photographed woman in the world no matter what. People are going to catch angles of me no matter what.
I know.
I'm going to look like I'm tired, and I'm going to have bags under my eyes no matter what. So like,
but that very same day, they could take a photo of her in the right lighting, and she could look 20 years old.
Of course.
Yeah. That's just how lighting is.
I think that she's just like, I'm going to be picked apart, and I'm going to be critical of myself no matter what. Mm-hmm. Is this something that I am going to continue to focus on, or am I just going to release it and try to put nothing else in my body? I've already put, chemotherapy is incredibly hard on the body.
Oh, yeah.
It's a poison. You are literally poisoning your own body in the hopes that it will rid this cancer out of it. And so now I'm just, the only reason why I'm saying that is because we are seeing lines on her face that we have not seen before.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's not just like, oh, well, of course she's aged in 6 months or a year. No, it's like I'm curious if this has become something that she is very much focused on. And I like that is what I'm saying, because I'm the girl who also hasn't gotten any Botox or fillers or done anything to my face.
Yeah.
And it's actually really weird to watch like Baywatch. Like Joshua and I will go back and watch like Baywatch and things.
Yeah.
And you see all the actresses have lines on their forehead.
I know. It's crazy.
And then you compare it to now and watching movies and TV and things. And unless they're just extremely old people, no one's move. And so you're like, wait. Like it's like women used to be able to show their age.
Yeah.
They had lines on their face, or even in their 20s.
Yeah.
We're talking about actresses in
and
their
you
20s.
really do notice it. I mean, you can watch
it.
like Dawson's Creek.
Yes.
And you can see that even the girls in their 20s have expression lines.
Yes. And so I think like, if she is making this statement, I love it, because it's a way of saying like, hey, if even I, your people's princess, future queen,
who has access to
access to anything. Yeah. I'm even now just kind of washing my hands of it and accepting it. Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. I really think that that's cool. Now, It might be that they were like, you can't get Botox while you're doing chemo, or you can't do this or that, and you're going to have to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, and then maybe she'll show up in a couple months and there will not be a line on her forehead again.
Could be. I am curious.
I'm just curious to it's just something that I noticed in that specific in those specific pictures and videos and things like that. I was just like, oh my gosh, we're actually seeing a woman in her 40s. We're the exact same age.
Yeah.
Seeing a woman in her 40s and she looks like me.
Yeah, she's aging. It's fine.
Yeah, she's aging and she looks like me and we both have wrinkles on our foreheads. Like, how lovely is that to actually see?
Yeah. And to be, as you said earlier, even before this, like that she's just relatable. She's a relatable person. Now, I wondered, okay, so my mom had said this, that because we've always just been like, Princess Kate has the best hair.
Yeah, she's got great
beautiful, thick, long brown hair.
Gorgeous.
And she still has her hair.
Yes,
now,
yes.
In some of those photos, she was sitting with a woman who had the cold cap on.
Yes, yes.
So are we assuming that Kate did the cold cap?
I think so. I mean, in order to not lose her hair. Now, I know that there are certain kinds of chemo that isn't a side effect.
Right.
And so I think it also depends on the medication, the specific one that you took.
Okay.
But yes, I do know a lot of people who now are doing the cold caps. I know it's extremely annoying.
It hurts is what I hear. Painful.
You have to replace it like every 20 minutes.
And everybody has been saying as more people have been talking about this, maybe because of Kate, I don't know, that it's very expensive and insurance has not covered it. But now it is being presented and discussed that this needs, especially for women.
Yeah.
This needs to be covered by insurance, that if women want to choose to keep their hair, that they should be allowed to do so. And I fully support it.
Fully support that as well. I do support that as well. There are a lot of things about our healthcare that are wrong.
Yes.
And terrible. And like, could you throw us a bone?
Could you throw us a bone? If you're going through a cancer treatment, you're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
You're fighting for your life. Can we not say,
dignify,
hey, if you want this cold cap, and not everyone will choose it.
Yeah, no.
Not everyone will choose it. But like, I don't know. I liked seeing that picture because I imagined that maybe she went through that too, and that she could sympathize with that woman and say like, I know what you're feeling.
Absolutely. I did see that as well. I clocked that as well.
Yeah.
And I'll be curious to hear how much she decides to share about this with us as the weeks, months, and years go on, or how tight-lipped she will be about it. Either way, we of course support her.
Yes.
But the vigil is now for your nose.
It's for my nose.
And Andrea's future baby. So I just want, as long as I know people are trying to keep up with the vigil and the candle. And so I'm just, in my mind, I am too. And here I am to relay that.
My nose is next.
Yep.
And then soon, that we can say goodbye to that. And then it will just be lit for Andrea's future children.
Then it will just be Andrea's children. And I think that will mean something to him.
It will
have this candle just for him.
Just for him. And who knows when they're going to have kids? Pretty soon, hopefully, we'll get to find out. That kid's going to come out. Are you cute or are you not cute?
Yep. And we will let y'all know. We'll keep you up to date.
I mean, hopefully it's not years. You guys, if they are waiting 5 more years, I don't know if we can wait 5 more years. With
no, I don't think so. The candle will, it'll move on to the next thing.
It will.
It always holds many, many memories.
Yes, many memories.
Yes.
Many.
Many.
Many men.
Many men.
Okay, we want to get into our.
We'll do it in 2 and 2.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your first one?
What are you off the top here? Okay, I've wanted to talk about this.
Okay.
So let's just say it.
Let's get it.
Because I keep getting fed reels about it.
Okay.
Wearing shoes inside the house. Wearing shoes inside the house. Okay. We're gonna finally talk about it.
The bows.
Because we have teased a little bit on our Instagram about this, and I said you and I have never discussed.
No, we have not.
How we feel.
Yes.
About wearing shoes inside the house. I think we align on our feelings about it for our own personal homes.
Okay.
But we've never talked about it as far as when you go to someone's house and they request you take your shoes off.
Yes.
And I want to know how the podcasts feel about this too.
This is very polarizing. I feel like shoes inside of the home is on par with team top sheet or not top sheet.
And sitting on the potty or squatting over the potty.
Sitting or squatting, obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that this is extremely, I think it's generational.
Yes.
I think it's how you were raised.
Yep.
And what your mama did in her home.
Okay.
Or what your family does in your home.
Yeah.
Because I think that it's just something that's ingrained in you.
Yes.
And I definitely know that there are certain cultures as well.
Yeah.
That you do not wear shoes inside of the house.
No.
You literally, they go in the garage, in the mudroom.
Yes.
And then you put on house shoes,
yes.
which are then slippers or something like that.
That have never been outside.
That have never been outside. Now, this will shock 0 people because I am feral and gross. Germs do not bother me. I would never once think about what's on the bottom of my shoe and that it could get tracked inside of my home. I don't care.
You literally ate a pill off the kitchen floor up
I
there.
did upstairs. I put it on my tongue. It fell off, which means it was wet, which means it could gather anything off of the floor of her kitchen. I did not care. I put it right back in, and my shoe had just previously been in that exact spot in her home. My outside shoes, walked inside her home, stomped all around, dropped the pill out of my mouth, picked it right back up, put it in my mouth. And now I am burping up the repercussions, but that's on me.
You are.
Shame on me. Shame on me. Can't be any dirtier than what's on the bottom of my shoes. So I am gross. I don't care. There are no rules in my house. You do not have to take off your shoes to walk into my home.
Yep.
It does help that we have all wood flooring with
Yes.
some area rugs, but you're not going to track anything on carpet.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to have to scrub things out of it. And so I don't require that. I don't ask that. And it does not bother me because I do not care about dirt, dirty things, germs. None of it bothers me.
Same.
I could not care less.
Yeah, same. I mean, I wasn't raised that way.
Yeah.
You make a great point.
Yeah.
In our house, you just walked around in your shoes,
Yeah.
inside, outside, whatever. You walk in my house, keep your shoes on. I don't care. Even when I had little babies, like it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't on my mind. I never thought of it one time.
Never thought to think, yes, when we had babies and they're crawling around and whatever.
Yeah.
They're putting everything in their mouth anyway. You could say no shoes, but then every single one of their toys, they're slobbering all over it. They're putting them there. Like, I don't think, now I know, of course, that there are going to be illnesses that can be tracked through poop, let's say on the bottom of the shoe.
Sure.
Of course, you don't want your child to like eat that or anything. That is such an exception. Like that.
It is.
We are talking about like, what, 0.0000, like where there's not a ton of studies, I think.
Yeah.
I feel firm that I could say there are not a copious amount of studies saying that there are an immense amount of deaths from the bottom of shoes. Now, I understand that they can bring stuff into your home, but what is that translating to? Are we talking just massive amounts of people keeling over dead?
No.
Like, come on. So if that's in your home, here's where it gets tricky for us.
Tell me.
It gets tricky for us if we have pulled ourselves together.
It's an outfit.
It's an outfit.
It's an outfit.
The shoes are very much a part of said outfit.
I mean, for me, if I fully have gotten ready, we're talking ready.
Yeah.
It's a boot.
Yes.
It's a sandal with like a certain kind.
It's a lace-up sandal.
Ooh.
It is a knee-high boot.
And that is a callback. Many of you know that Sex and the City episode. There's an episode that this is like one of the most famous ones.
Okay. I never watched that show.
Where Carrie Bradshaw goes to a baby shower at her friend's house, Upper East Side, very fancy. Of course, Carrie Bradshaw is coming in her Manolo Blahniks.
Of course.
And she walks in and the woman says, "Oh, take off your shoes," because I think the baby had already been born. "Put your shoes by the door." And Carrie famously, she's kind of holding the gift and she's like, "But this is an outfit.
Yeah.
This is an outfit.
This is a whole outfit.
I can't just wear this dress and twirl around here barefoot. Like that doesn't make sense visually."
Right.
And so her and the friend have an exchange back and forth. The friend wins. Of course, she's just had a baby. She takes off her shoes, leaves them by the front door. Well, when she goes to leave, her Manolo Blahniks are gone.
Oh, boy.
They're gone.
Oh, boy.
Someone has stolen them.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You do not still carry shoes.
You do not. And so she leaves. The whole episode kind of centers around this. And she's talking with her friends about like, well, what do I do? Like she made me take the shoes off. Now I lost my $700 heels because of her request.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out, how do you dance around this? So what she does by the end is she sends that friend an invitation to her baby shower. Carrie has her own baby shower.
But she didn't have a baby, I didn't think in the show.
She didn't have a baby.
Okay.
She's having her own baby shower.
It's so ridiculous.
And there's a registry link. And there's one thing on the registry.
Shut up.
It's the Manolo Blahniks.
Did the friend buy them?
She bought them.
She did.
She mailed them to her house. She opens them up and she gets them.
Okay.
Okay. I think the friend realized, like, touche. You know what?
Touche.
You're right. You came to my party. You brought my baby a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
And this happened to you. And we had a back and forth about it. And then your shoes were lost. And it's kind of on me. So
Okay. So, but the idea that and Bose is famous for this on Beverly Hills now.
So Beverly Hills Housewives, Bose does it. And then Tiffany, who was on Real Housewives of Dallas, did it too.
Yep.
People would come in her home and she had almost like surgical slippers.
I do remember the surgical slippers. And I'm actually like, okay with that. If you are absolutely no shoes in that. It's funny. You sent me the whole no shoes thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Wherever I was at that exact moment, I was in someone else's home where they did ask me to remove my shoes.
No way.
And now I can't remember who it is, and they might even be a podcast listening. And
I know there's definitely podcasts listening that take their shoes off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
or require it in their home.
Yeah.
So we are not here.
Oh, no, there's no judgment. It's so fascinating to talk about this and like think about why people do that. Is it because they've researched? I mean, I've been fed reels that are like, look at the bacteria on the bottom.
No, I know that it exists, but I'm just saying, what is it doing? Like, is there just so much harm?
Yeah.
Now, again, it's your house. I also think it comes down to dirt too. I think it comes down to like not wanting to damage something. I get all of that.
Yeah.
But shoes, as a short girl.
Yeah.
Shoes are a very big part of most of my outfits. Even the sneakers I'm wearing right now have a thick heel.
It has a lift.
It has a lift.
Yeah.
These are Tom Cruise's shoes.
Yeah.
Famous for his lifts. But I do like some height, and I do think that it helps with my outfit, and it does help with my confidence.
Yes.
To have on a great boot.
Yes, absolutely.
And that it does help make the outfit for me and my confidence and just being a little bit taller, because most of the time I'm just looking up everyone's nostrils.
That's the truth.
So there is a little bit of that for me. It's just giving me height where I so desperately do need it.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to go, and where I went, I feel like it was a very nice party. So I ended up being in like a dress
and like random socks
or like just bare feet. And then, well, what if and then my toes always look gnarly because I don't care. I'm not getting pedicures.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm just hand painting sometimes when I think about it.
No, I didn't even think about like that the toes might be out. And if you weren't planning for your toes to be out,
then you're unprepared there. Maybe you're just wearing like mismatched socks.
I mean, you might have on a very beautiful dress with like athletic socks.
Athletic socks because you've covered it with a bootie. And so then you're just like walking around a party in like Belega athletic socks that one's gray, one's white, with a cocktail dress. So I do think this. I think that a happy medium would be, one, if you are a shoes off household and you are inviting people to a nice event at your home.
Agree.
I think it actually needs to be on the invitation.
100% agree.
I think that the invitation needs to say cocktail attire, no shoes in the house.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
just
at
say
least
that.
let people know.
Yeah.
That your feet will be out. And you can choose how they want to be out.
Then we're wearing a long maxi.
Exactly.
We're wearing a long maxi.
You totally changed my dress now.
You won't even see my feet at all, so it doesn't matter.
That. This is a podcast. Let me talk into the microphone.
We're going to wear a long maxi. I'm not going to wear a more, let's say, voluminous thing up top. You want to know what's really embarrassing?
That's it.
What's really embarrassing is if I have on a large hat and now you've told me to take off my boots.
Absolutely not.
I have on a mini dress, a big hat, and some big boots, and now I'm in my athletic socks.
Yeah.
I probably will just leave the party.
Yeah, I think so. So we're trying to help you here. No shoes, people. Put it on the invitation.
Yes.
Let us know going into it that we will not be wearing our shoes with the outfit.
Yep.
I will do a long maxi. I will just wear my slippers.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking them off right away.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to put a heel on.
No,
Who cares?
who
I'm not
cares?
going to be uncomfortable even for the 5 minutes walking.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I love
So
this.
that I love. Or you're no shoes, or you're worried about the germs or whatever, then have the covers.
Yes.
Have the covers.
Do the
I will
covers.
slip them on over it. I still think we'll all look insane in pictures.
Yeah.
But at least I keep my height.
Yes.
And I keep my boot up to my knee.
You're right.
And I do feel better about that.
Yeah.
Or another option, if you are someone like this, then maybe you buy, a ton of just those really cheap white kind of slippers that slip inside of each other. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep those by your door. And then that way people can slip right into those. So maybe they're at least not completely barefooted, or if their socks are all holey and gross, they don't have to feel embarrassed about that. But I do think no matter what, we need to know ahead of time.
We need to know ahead of time. And I'm a little bit of the mind.
Yep. Or this. Option 4. I know what you're going to say.
Here's option 4. That if this is a deal breaker for you, you are absolutely not going to have shoes in your home ever at all, then you maybe shouldn't be throwing parties for a lot of people. A nice party, a nighttime party, an adult party. Maybe like your house is just not the one for it. And that's fine. Like that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. And there's no judgment there again, because we're just letting you know, as the shoes on people, it becomes very distressing. It is distressing. Maybe you didn't shave your legs for those tall boots.
It is distressing. And I will say that.
Or lotion your leg.
It is.
Think about it.
Well, I'm not doing that anyway.
I know.
Shaving or lotioning my legs.
But for me.
But for other people that they are, it's either that maybe you are not the host.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just something that's too difficult, you know, and it's making your guests feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or distressed, as you said.
If it's a casual party, let's say this is a midday Super Bowl party.
Okay.
Who cares? People are coming in tennis shoes. You can host that party. They can take their shoes off and nobody cares. But I am talking, if Kathy Hilton is hosting her Christmas party, I don't think Kathy Hilton should be hosting that party if she were to require shoes off. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Okay, so that's option 4. Now I'm going to throw in an extra option 5 here.
Option 5.
Extra, because I do agree with that. You know, maybe it's just not your journey.
Yeah.
Or option 5 is, can we make an exception?
Yes, that is option 5. You're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can we
just for that night?
Can we make an exception? Yes, I know you're a shoes off household every other day of the year. This is deeply personal to you, or generational, or cultural, or whatever.
Yeah.
But for your very nice holiday party where people are coming in sequence, for God's sake.
Yes.
Can we make an exception?
And what you could do is you plan that next day, you've got deep cleaners coming. Because
you already have Zero Res coming.
Yeah, you already have them coming. And so they come and they just deep clean and steam and disinfect your floors, and you can feel really good about it.
And you know what? If you did if your guest kind of knew that about you and that you were like, but I'm letting it go for this one night.
Yeah.
I would, in my gift to you would go towards that.
Yes.
I would literally write you a check and be like, instead of like, you know, a candle, like here, put this towards the carpet cleaning. Because I know that this is really important to you.
A little floor cleaning. And maybe we're going to even think about the shoes we put on. Maybe we clean those shoes up a little bit. Maybe we save the shoe until we are there at your home, and then we slip it on and come on inside.
Love that.
With a cleaner shoe.
But I do think this all just comes along with knowing. You got to give the people the heads up. I think that it can go on an invitation no matter what time of day, no matter what kind of party. You know, we're a no shoes household.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I am absolutely going to pick my cuter socks, ones without holes. I am going to pick. I actually have now like gotten to a place where I don't have any holes in my socks, and I feel really good about that.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. You know, but I want to make sure I'm coming correct.
Yeah.
Either way. So just let people know.
And watching The Housewives, they always point it out, because Dorit comes over.
It's a whole look.
And then Bo says, okay, we'll take your shoes off. And Dorit's face is like, what?
And I'm not seeing an option. I'm not seeing slippers at Bo's house. I'm not seeing covers. I think that there's just a way that we can do this where people still have their dignity.
Their dignity, please.
That's all.
Okay, podcast, I do want y'all to memo us if you are a shoes
so
off.
Curious.
Yeah, I really am. I want a shoes off person to please call in or write in. And I want to know your perspective on it, whether that's for cleanliness or young kids, or it's how you were raised or whatever.
What do you do in this situation?
Yes. And so then I do want to know, are you hosting a lavish party? And if you do, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
And maybe you're having an aha moment right now.
I think so.
Realizing that people have felt a little bit embarrassed by that.
It is kind of embarrassing. It is. And I know that that's not your intention.
No.
That's never an intention.
It's not Bose's intention. It's not anybody's intention, but it's like, it does kind of.
And also just know, when you come over to my house, you can wear shoes.
Oh, people clomp around here. Yeah.
And actually a couple of years ago when we hosted our Thanksgiving charcuterie.
Yeah, I remember.
And everything. And we do the drinks and charcuterie before Thanksgiving at my parents' house, right next door at our house. And someone came with like high heels, but the pad was off the back of the heels. So the metal part of the stiletto, we have tiny dots all over our entire floor, our downstairs floor. It now just looks weathered, let's say.
It's
distressed, actually.
Distressed look.
It's a distressed
Did you
floor.
feel distressed at first when you saw it?
Yeah. I did. And then I said, you know what?
It's giving Chip and Joanna.
We let people wear shoes on in our house, and this is something that we have to deal with. So this is me. Y'all, I'm literally saying our multiple thousands of dollar floor was somewhat ruined because there are now tiny little holes. The receipts will be incredible. Tiny little holes all over our entire downstairs floor. Whoever wore these shoes was everywhere. They looked like they were doing a dance. They were Lord of the Dance, Michael Flatley, just all over our floor.
I loved Lord of the Dance.
Same, I've seen it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, speaking of something gross.
Yes, let's hear it.
Speaking of something gross, and this is another PSA, but I can't imagine any of our podcasts do this.
I'm so excited.
If I have to walk on another sidewalk, in another parking lot,
yes,
in another place in public, and I have to look down and step over your snot loogie.
Oh, that's disgusting. No.
I will. This is unforgivable.
It's unforgivable.
Let me explain why. If we are on a sidewalk,
God,
there is a strip of grass to the left. There's grass to the right, bushes, natural area, whatever. You're telling me that you have coughed up, and I get it. I'm a sickly girl. I got a lot of snot. I'm coughing up a lot of stuff. But if I cough something up, you can't tell me that you can't go 2 more feet to the left or 2 more feet to the right and perhaps spit that stuff up where people's shoes aren't walking. Because here's the thing, I understand. Going back to the last one, I get it that there's stuff on the bottom of our shoes because we have to deal with snot loogie people who are spitting in parking lots.
Literally, the shoes off people are cheering right now because they're saying this is why there's loogies on the parking lot.
No, I understand that, and you can still your snot loogie shoes are still welcome in my home.
They are
because that's who I am. That's my journey. But I am saying, can the snot loogie people not all get together and just realize that, hey, some people will wear their shoes in the house and we don't want our snot loogies to be on the bottom of them. So we're going to now spit in the grass, like where people are less likely to be walking. Why is this hard? Why do people think that they are so special that they can just...
But see, that's
down.
I was going to say, like, I don't even want to hear that. Like, when I hear a man just out in the world, you are in public, there are maybe 50 people around you, and you make that sound, and then we have to watch you spit it onto the sidewalk?
It is wild
I've
to
seen
me.
People do it on TV.
Yes.
Like, there's people that do this on, like, reality TV.
I've seen people do it. They'll, like, be riding a bike or running, and they just do snot rockets. Remember Puck used to do it on Real World?
Puck used to do it. You are correct.
But y'all, why? I just don't understand. And sometimes this will be the sidewalk and right here's the grass and that loogie will be right there. Like we couldn't just lean a little bit more over so that the rest of the American public don't have to walk through your phlegm.
So disgusting. So let me ask you, did you come upon this recently? Did you step in one?
I almost stepped in one, and it made me, I immediately put snot loogies on sidewalks. Because here's what happens. I don't think a lot of this happens in adulthood. I think it starts when your kids are younger.
Okay.
And they don't think about it. It just doesn't cross their mind. So they're going, pss, pss. And then they do it as adults. So what I'm saying is parents, like make sure, it's a teachable moment. Just be like, hey, you don't do that, right?
Can I just say, like, my children have actually never done that at all. Like they've coughed up things at home, and I'll say, go to the sink,
go spit it out in the tissue.
Yeah, like I can hear that it came up.
Yes,
but never in the wild have they gone and like spit out. They've never done it, and I think it's because they've never seen us do it.
Right, they've never seen y'all do it. But I think that this happens, and I'm telling you, please just double check with your kids. Like literally, turn off this episode right now.
Pause
and just be like, pause.
Please pause this episode.
Pause this episode and say, hey, when you have to cough stuff up and you're spitting it out, like you're not spitting that out in like parking lots or on sidewalks. Like absolutely do not let it hit asphalt or concrete.
Ask them and ask your college age kids because they're walking around campus all day.
Y'all know I always have a tissue in my bra. So if I have to cough something up and I am a phlegmy girl because of my condition, I'm spitting it in my
Of course,
tissue. Like
of course.
sometimes I do have to get it up, but I would never. And if I am desperate, if I do not have anything on me and I am out in the wild, I am literally going and like
finding a
parting a bush
Yeah.
and like, because I don't even want the landscapers to have to somewhat trim
You're so
my
right.
loogie leaf. And you have people just on sidewalks?
Loogie leaf is the
Leaf.
title.
That's the title. Loogie leaf. You will not find my loogie on a random leaf in a random bush in a Target parking lot. I am spreading it.
You know what? It needs to get to the soil because from whence it came, that's where we go. Dust we are born, dust we go back. Send that loogie back to the soil.
Send it back.
No loogie leaf.
No.
No.
Oh, boy.
And you know what's gross too?
Pissed.
Is when you do see that, you know it's fresh because it's still shiny and slimy. So somebody up ahead did it.
And I am scanning.
You're scanning.
Know that. If a parade of us are walking into Target and I see a fresh one, I am scanning. I am seeing who's looking a little bit like a red nose.
Yes.
Like, I know that you've been blowing a lot. Again, here with you.
Yeah.
But I would never do that. I would never do that. So I do need this to be a podcast PSA, ATTS PSA.
Yes.
That we are going to make sure we don't know anyone in our lives who would do that. And we're just going to do a quick check.
No.
A quick check with
husbands. Make sure y'all check in with your husbands
Yeah.
and check in with your children.
How'd your wives, how'd your kids?
Yeah.
Like we do need to check on this because kids who think it's okay and who are just doing it become adults who think it's okay and are just doing it. And I don't like that. The world is not yours. We all exist in it together. So you can't just spit your snot wherever you are. That is so rude, gross.
I feel the same way about gum too. Like who's spitting their gum on the sidewalk? It happens rarely, but every once in a while I'm walking and I realize my shoe is stuck and there's gum and I'm like, who is spitting the gum on the sidewalk?
I gotta believe it's a kid.
It's the kids.
I
definitely could see kids even more than the loogies. The kids spitting the gum. I can.
Well, yeah, if they would just swallow it, but then that was the rumor.
Yeah, it's the rumor.
Second thing.
Okay, my second thing.
Again, I'll speak into the microphone. What's your second thing?
I am going to say, just to keep it quick, that I have still been on my mustard pretzel journey. And I
haven't made them for you yet.
You haven't made them for me yet.
So sorry.
That's okay.
It's going to be for your surgery.
Yes.
I was going to surprise you.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I even found another brand that came. I'll share that with you guys. It's not the protein ones. It's a totally different one.
Okay.
That is a gluten-free.
Okay.
So this is a gluten-free, and it says that it's just like a mustard. It's not a honey mustard.
Right.
So this comes in. There's a little bit of sweetness in it.
Damn it.
A little bit of sweetness.
That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for truly savory, almost bitter.
Bitter.
Like,
I want it sour in the back.
You need it sour in the back. The correct mustard pretzel is sour in the back. You are starting to, just talking about it makes me salivate.
Sour. Yeah. Touch your face like this with your paw. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Sour in the back.
Cover. So you're still on a journey. I am still going to just make you a big old batch of gluten-free ones that I'm going to probably have to make from an original recipe, and I hope I get it.
I know, because you're going to have to make that dust.
I know. The dust. From dust we come. It's the dust.
Dust to dust. What did we say? It's in the bush because we're not a loogie leaf.
And mine has to do, we'll say dust a little bit too.
Okay, let's
My number 2, FSU circus update.
Oh, boy.
Because once the tent went down, it was dust.
It was dust.
And there was no money left in the FSU athletic budget to replace the tent.
The lies.
And so, they had to sell their T-shirts and do a GoFundMe.
Sickening.
Sick. But we are on the email list because Lily has gone to that camp twice, that summer camp. And I got the email the other day. We are so sorry and regret to inform you that we will not be able to have the circus camp this summer at FSU because we still don't have a tent.
They still do not.
No.
So at this point,
that was so long ago.
When was that?
I don't know, but it was so freaking long ago.
Because they didn't have it last summer because of the tent, correct? Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Okay, wait. I'm looking it up. I cannot believe they won't have it again this summer.
No.
You guy, this is sick.
It's disgraceful. It's actually disgraceful because that summer
It was destroyed in May of 2024. So they didn't have it last summer, and then they can't have it in summer 2025.
And it is such a moneymaker for the circus. These camps are a moneymaker for the circus. And now they haven't had it 2 summers in a row because they cannot get a tent.
Hang on. I have the chills because I literally think like we are going to pursue this on their behalf. Because what I need Florida State to understand is that 2 random women in Charlotte, North Carolina know about this. It's not just the locals. It's not just the college students that know about it. We know about it. And it's a really, really gross look that y'all can't reach into your donors' pockets to just get a tent put back up from 2024.
And that they had to do GoFundMes to even rebuild.
Like, I guess in my mind all along, I just thought that the tent, that they did finally put it back because they worked hard enough to fund it themselves.
No, it's so expensive. This specific tent, these tents are made.
How much?
I think it's like $1 million or something. Like this specific tent. No,
but,
I know.
But the
for Florida State, of course.
Florida State, come on.
But to raise that in a GoFundMe with T-shirt sales, you can't.
I am shocked. You're gonna have to forward me this email because I want to read it.
It's like they're like, well, we have a place in Italy that's trying to make the tent because it's a specific kind, blah, blah, blah. And so now we won't have the camp again.
I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed.
How is this a problem? Now, manufacturing, I get whatever, but it wasn't just about that.
No.
It wasn't.
Well, because
any amount of money speaks.
Yeah.
And if FSU,
correct,
the size of FSU and the power behind FSU's athletic department went to a manufacturer in Italy and said, I guess we hear you're the only people who make circus tents. What do we need to do to be bumped to the top of circus tent list?
Yes.
I can assure you that could have been done. But instead, because we were raising money through T-shirt sales and GoFundMes,
right.
They didn't have enough to put down on said tent, or they are 20th in line for said tent.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when this happened in May, immediately the school should have put up the money in Italy and said, here's the $1 million, make us a tent. We know we can't probably have it by this summer.
Sure.
But we will need it for the following year.
Yes.
But obviously that didn't happen.
No.
They had to raise the money themselves. They had to do the GoFundMe themselves. And that is why the delay has occurred. And that is why they can't have camp this year. So I do still blame the school.
This is a 7-week camp.
I'm disturbed.
They make money each week that it's going on. And it's a place for Floridian kids to go. And it's actually affordable. It's $350 for a full 5-day camp.
That's amazing.
All day.
That's amazing.
All day. And we loved it. And that's why we were able to make it work because, yes, we did have to get a hotel room for 5 nights.
Sure.
But all in, we were still spending less than $1,500, let's say, for a week-long camp, which is less than anything you would find in Charlotte.
And I really liked when you would swim in the pool and your hair would turn
become seafoam.
Aquamarine.
Yeah.
And now we're not going to get that.
No.
Thanks a lot, Florida State. I can't.
I don't want you to cheer for them until this has been settled.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I feel okay about that. And I also am wondering, is this circus camp like really the only United States camp like this? Are there other ones?
There's one other university that has a circus. It's either, I believe it's Illinois, maybe I want to say, but there's like University of Illinois or University of Omaha. I don't know. I know that those aren't the same place as you guys. I'm just saying like there's one other college with a still operating circus through the college.
Okay.
I don't even know if they offer camps. Now, Lily, luckily, I think still wants to go back to ENC in Montreal.
Okay.
And so we have that. But the principle is that if you're not someone who is trying to go to Montreal and really do cirque.
Yes.
But you love circus.
Yes.
This is the only option.
That's what I'm saying.
And not just for people traveling down there, it's for the locals too. This was a huge camp for them. And for kids who want to move their bodies and learn something kind of cool. It's just not easy to find. And I just am deeply bothered by it.
I am bothered.
And I think that FSU should be ashamed
I think
of letting this happen this way. I think it's a terrible look. And I can't believe that PR is actually not like popping off about it.
I'm going to write an email. I am. I feel like I can say we are, Matt is a Florida State alum. I'm going to figure out who this needs to go to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll go to some administrative assistant, but
I want to know.
I would like for them to know that plenty of women in the Carolinas know about this. And even though that might feel random or not consequential to them, like it is. And it's a bad look. And if you're not taking care of everybody and you're only taking care of certain people, it shows where they fall in the hierarchy for you. And that's going to come back. That's going to come back on you. It's not a good look. Maybe. That's why you had a bad football season.
Karma. And the thing is we might be just two random women in the Carolinas, but I have given my money to that camp and you have given your money to FSU.
Absolutely.
So like we know, like we're your target demo.
That's it.
We are.
And now we're here on the mic.
So now we're pissed.
We're pissed. And I'm allowed to talk smack about Florida State because we have love for it. I can't talk smack about other schools because then people get mad at me. However, I will for Florida State. And
we'll call out our own people.
We absolutely will.
That's a different. Listen, you guys, let me say this. Remember, y'all heard the Tennessee of it all and la la la. When NC State decided to fight after 2 games back to back, disgusting. Disgusting. I don't stand for that. I don't like it at all. To have 5 players ejected, to take the flag and put it down, and it's a bad look.
Yes.
I don't like it.
Yep.
But what we do, we introduce money into college football, and here we are.
Oh, yeah.
Here we are, folks.
You and I have never discussed, but I feel like one of these days we need to deep dive how we feel about that.
Agreed.
The money being introduced into the college
sports. The root of all evil. It really does change people and it changes things. And I think that that's why we're going to see an uptick in fighting.
Yes.
And guys peacocking around and thinking that they're better than the other ones because they're getting big deals and endorsements and whatever. And
it's just changed kind of like the collegiate pride that you had for your school. You had loyalty to your
and players
school.
Had loyalty to their schools. And now they just bebop around.
The players have they're not like, I'm a Gamecock for life or whatever school it is, because they just are looking for that highest bidder.
Yep.
Yeah. Gosh, it's sad.
It's ruined it. And I think that that's why we have these big attitudes now. And, obviously like football's a tough sport and you're going to get riled up and you're literally hitting each other every play. And so of course it's going to translate afterwards, especially in a close game or a big bowl game or a contentious game. But I'm here to say, as much as I do love NC State now and I'm cheering for them, I do not like the fighting.
No.
I don't like it. And if I were the coach and it happened after that first game, I would have said, if this ever happens again, you won't play for me.
Yeah.
Point blank period. And then it happened the very next game, which tells me, coach, something didn't get translated correctly and it needed to be. And if we need to be the ones to come in, again, we're for hire. If we need to be the ones to come into that locker room,
we are for hire.
You let me know. I'm ready.
Still no one has taken us up on any offers.
No, not one. But I will be speaking at the Junior League of Concord Galentine's event.
That's right.
In February, and I'll put some information. I'll post it on.
Yes, it would be so nice if some podcasts would come to that.
It'd be so great. I'm going to be speaking there. They are $50 a ticket, but it goes towards a great cause, and you'll have like drinks and food. And then I'm going to be speaking for like half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, listen, we got to scoot.
Yeah, we do. I got to go to NC State.
You're leaving for NC State right now. We got to scoot. Next time you hear from us, I think it will be season 5.
It'll be season 5. It will be post Kristen's Moe's nose surgery.
The Moe's nose will have already happened. So you guys will get to hear an update whenever that is, whenever y'all hear from us again.
Yep.
We'll see. We had talked about, do we take a 1-week break and then we launch into season 5? I don't know. We kind of just have to see.
We're going to see. Really, it all depends on your nose, my babe.
Okay. Well, the candle's lit.
The candle is lit. And we can't.
Oh, I got to give a shout out real quick before
yes.
we go. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. There is a lovely woman named Georgia. And she reached out when all this nose stuff came out, and she jumped into the DMs and she said, you know what? I just went through this last May, and I would love to answer any of Kristen's questions, yada, yada. So we exchanged cell phone numbers.
Oh, I love that.
And we have been texting over the past few months, and I just texted her the other night, and I was like, surgery's coming up. How are you? How's your healing going? Blah, blah, blah. She has sent me photos from the day of the operation.
Okay.
From then up until now, showing me updates. Here's how it looks. Here's what I did. Here's what my dermatologist said.
Yeah.
She has been so helpful, Georgia. I have to give you a shout out on this. Her nose looks incredible. And guess what?
What?
Her doctor is my doctor.
Shut up.
The guy who operated on her is my person.
Oh, thank God.
So that...
Thank God. Is it Georgia Giandino?
Ooh,
Georgia Gandino.
That sounds right because she looks Italian to me.
Georgia Gottsacker Gandino.
Let me see the picture.
Okay,
I could tell you, she has been so
this
kind. I don't think that's her. Oh,
okay, I have a few Georgias in the DMs.
Yeah,
and so I wasn't sure if it was
we'll
this
call
Georgia.
her out exactly. But Georgia, you know, because you're listening. And she said the other day she was at the derm and they prescribed her like some new like skin things that she's going to start. She said, I thought of you.
Aw. Or there's also Georgia Flatstone.
Let's see.
There's a Georgia Flatstone. That's another Georgia, not baby Georgia, not to be confused with baby Georgia.
Not baby Georgia. Are you in our ats? I think that's her.
This is her, right?
That's her.
Okay, okay, Georgia, I do need you to know this.
She's great.
I almost said Georgia Flatstone because I know your handle so well, but I didn't. And then when I went to look for Georgia Gandino popped up before yours.
Okay.
But I want you to know, I almost said Flatstone.
It was Georgia Flatstone.
So Georgia, thank you for being so good.
You've been so kind. She has been a wealth of information.
Also, she did not add an apostrophe to her last name on her Christmas post. And for that, I say thank you. Just an S. The Stones.
Just stones.
Just like a stone you see on the ground, hopefully not covered in a loogie. If you wanted to say more than one, you'd say stones. No apostrophe.
That's it. Wow, we'll leave you with that. That
Always
visual.
Circling back.
We will leave you with that visual. Georgia, you are not affiliated with that. To be continued.